Okay. Mm, so, hi Vikrant. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hey,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. This is not how we usually meet.
Yeah, but this is not how we usually meet now. This has become
So,
something which
yeah.
is new, and this is our new normal. So I think we'll
Yeah, I
just
guess.
wait for a couple of minutes for
Yeah,
everyone to
yeah,
join so that hi Abhishek, hi Jonty,
yeah. Hey,
Shivam.
everybody.
So,
Wow, a lot of
those who
people.
don't know her, I think I'll wait for your introduction a little bit because everyone's supposed to come at 5. So I think I'll
You're
just
the
wait
boss.
till till we introduce you nicely into this.
Yeah.
I just wanted to start earlier because I didn't know, how to connect you to this. And so, okay, this is nice. So, guys, those who have joined right now, I would want to say that we are just doing a live on periodization and how to, kind of find the right coach amongst the plethora of many. So, if you have any questions for the both of us, you can drop it in that question box right there under the comments section. We won't be able to go back to the comment section and check it out. So, you can drop the questions over there so then we can answer it as and when it comes. I'm good, Ashutosh. How are you? Okay, so I guess I'll just give a quick introduction to Priyanka. Priyanka is a fellow fitness firster with me. She joined in a little later than me, but nevertheless, she has been one of the best trainers out there, and she is an ACSM certified trainer. She's a body pump instructor, and she's a certified yoga instructor as well. I'm sorry, Priyanka, where did you do your yoga instruction from? Where did you learn from?
Yeah, I did my teacher's training course from the Yoga Institute in Mumbai. It's in
Yeah,
Santa
yeah.
Cruz, and I think they have a couple of other spots as well now. And it's the oldest institute in the world. It's almost
Yeah,
100 years old. It was an amazing experience. I met
yeah.
like a lot of interesting people there, which then we met in Fitness First
At in
again.
Fitness
So
First,
it's
yeah,
nice.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
guys, I let me tell you one thing. She's one of the one of the rare combinations of of a very good yoga teacher as well as a very good strength and conditioning coach. So that's something very rare to find, and that's what I li
Thank
like
you.
about her, that she is that much into strength training as much as she is into yoga. So, coming back to the topic of the hour, we'll be talking about training periodization during lockdown and stuff. So we have gotten a couple of questions which we have right here. I'll be addressing each one of those, and I will be even asking Priyanka some questions. I think she also has some questions for me from
Yeah.
her page. Uh, oh, so there are
Hi,
people joining
Madhvi.
in. Okay, so let's start with the basics. I think Priyanka, I think
Yeah,
most of the people over here are hearing the name periodization for the very first time. So I think
right.
we should just start off with that, and how is it more important to our regular
Yeah.
day-to-day training when we do it even at home or even if we do it outside. So okay, Ashish, Dr. Ashish has joined us. Hi,
Hi,
hi, Doc.
Doc.
Okay, so we were just about to start off with defining what exactly periodization is, and I think I should give it a start. I should give it a go.
Yeah. So
I
since
think it's
this is a topic which is really close to your heart, I think you should start off first. So why don't you start off by telling us what periodization is? Because like you just said, that not many people know what it is, and it's a great tool to utilize in
yeah,
your training,
yeah.
which you're going to enlighten us on. So
So
why
I
don't you tell
think
us what it
Priyanka,
is?
the thing is, periodization. Everybody knows that they are already doing it, but they're not really aware of the fact that they are periodizing their, training patterns, because
Right.
periodization is nothing else except for just a systematic planning of physical training. It's basically mostly used in athletes, when we go to train. high level athletes on season, off season, then, pre-season, in between two competitions when you train them. There is a systematic
Yeah.
plan that goes into place so that their performance can be peaked, after a certain point of time. So it's just because of that, there is a plan which goes into place. There's real science that goes into place. But how can we, say that this is also needed in normal human beings? I mean, normal fit people, as in who are interested just in fitness,
Yeah.
is because even they unknowingly do a lot of
Do a
periodization
lot of
into their training,
periodization. Right.
right? In
Right.
fact, you would know even progressive overload, for that matter, is a kind of periodization, right? So
Yeah.
they're just going into that, and on this has been going on for the longest time in the history of strength and conditioning. This already started. We all know it started from the GAS syndrome,
Yeah. Yeah.
where you firstly go and recognize an alarm. That is the first recognition or first stimuli to your muscle, that if you're beginning, if you're going to strength and conditioning for the first time, you're doing weights for the first time, the soreness that you feel is what we call as the alarm in the
The alarm
first
phase.
phase of the
Yeah.
alarm phase of the
Yeah.
GAS syndrome. The second phase being your you know resistance, when you start developing a certain kind of understanding and how to handle that overload better over a period of time. So
Yeah.
say for example you're training for 4 weeks, you've understood, okay, this is how it goes and this is how I'm supposed to recover after this. So that is where you develop a kind of resistance, after which you go into the phase where you overtrain, or something that we call as exhaustion, where you've done enough of that program and now you want to move
Yeah.
on and do something else. That's where periodization and
Hmm.
coaching comes in, like um,
True.
um, you got to change the program a little bit, maybe
Yeah.
apply some different techniques into it. And I think program designing, or periodization for that matter, does not only apply to strength and conditioning, it applies to each and every aspect of fitness. It can be, I'm sure
Absolutely.
yoga also has its own
Yeah.
periodization.
Yeah.
We may not call it periodization, but
Yeah.
maybe something else. But definitely there must be some cycle which you follow,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it can be over a period of a week, it can be over a period of a month, it can be over a period of a year, and slowly and gradually how you progress over that period. I think
Yeah.
that's what sums up what periodization is
Yeah.
exactly.
True. So, like
So
you said, Madhuri, even in yoga, you have some form of periodization that you do. If it's something
hmm,
as simple as just doing a forward bend and trying to touch your toes,
hmm,
maybe initially you may not be able to do it, but
hmm,
as and when you practice a little bit, you see that your range of motion is increasing, and that
increasing,
also is a kind of periodization.
right,
Then
right,
when you look at, say, an athlete, okay, if
yeah,
he's got a
yeah,
competition or if he needs to get better at a certain lift, he's going to plan that like probably
yeah,
16 weeks out or whatever. And he's
yes,
going to
yes,
have a plan for every week, every day, and
absolutely,
he's going to progress. So if
correct,
I were to just do like maybe 3 sets of 8 reps with 100 kgs all 16 weeks, probably not progressing or doing any kind of
yes,
periodization.
yes, yes,
But
yes,
then
yes.
if I'm working on different aspects, that's
Yes,
periodization.
maybe you get there where you
Yeah.
want to get. Okay. So
Yeah.
here again, bringing on to the topic of the kind of time cycles we have in periodization. Now, you just said
Yeah.
16 weeks out, right? So
Yeah.
now these time frames is what consists of how quickly you periodize, and is it required for that particular sport to quickly periodize and quickly get them to the next level? Because say a newbie, a
Yeah.
new person, okay, would go into something we call as a linear periodization. Okay,
Right.
now this is where we are talking about different kinds of periodizations, what we use as coaches. And, we don't tell this to our members enough, but then, yes, we are also kind of putting them on in the back of the head. We are just putting them on a cycle where they can progress over a period of time with different
Yeah.
intensities, different volumes, different frequencies, etc. So when they see, like, say, day one, they maybe couldn't do even one lunge, and on the fifth day, they could do 6 lunges. That has been periodized over a period of those 6 days. So these time frames have also been very important in terms of periodization. Like, say, I was talking
Yeah.
about linear periodization. Now, linear
Yeah.
periodization is something that you build over a period of time to peak at one point at the top. Like, I would take an example of, say, a marathon runner. Okay, so we have had marathon runners in Fitness First, right? We have clients and they wanted to run, they wanted to start their, training in mid-August or something like that, so that they could peak their way up to January. So the cycle that you go from that August to the February part is what you,
Just kind of losing you.
call as periodization. Yes. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
are you getting
Yeah,
this?
yeah, I just lost you for a sec, but yeah, I'm back. So,
No, you didn't
very
lose me. I'm
funny
right
thing.
here.
Thank God. So, something very funny that
Hmm.
one of my clients that I used to train used to say, and she would be like, when I thought I am there, you have
Yeah.
another trick up your
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
sleeve,
yeah. So that's not
right?
exactly a trick. It's something
It's
that
not a
you're
trick.
using to just get better, to get the better of you, get the best out of you. And
Yeah,
yeah, you're right. In the first few years of training, we unknowingly use it. I
yeah.
mean, I was training when I was 14 years old. I remember the first time I went to the gym, I
Wow.
started doing bicep, tricep.
I was doing very
Okay.
different things when I was 14. Definitely not training.
Yeah, so uh, back then, I'm telling you, back then, so I'm telling you, I can see the difference, right? When I was 14 versus what I am today, I can see
Yeah,
then also the basics remained intact. I mean, I went and I did a squat. The first day, I just added five cup plates and I was just doing 10 reps, etc. And then I thought the next day, why not go for another two more reps? I have it in me.
चल डाल
That
दे
is where हाँ
like
चल
that.
हाँ कर लो
हाँ,
करके.
कर
So
लो.
now when I was doing that, I realized, oh, okay, so this is where I'm progressing, this is where I'm getting better, this is where I'm gaining strength. Now when I
Yeah,
go back to think of it, I didn't know periodization, but I knew for a fact that I wanted to move further, I wanted to get better, so I kept on
right,
increasing slow
right.
loads. So, which again brings us to the second type of periodization, which I kind
Hmm.
of transited from. I'm talking about my experiences with my clients as well as with
Yeah.
me. Especially in my term, I saw a quick change happening from just a trainer to go into athletics. A kind of bodybuilding, the bodybuilding route, or say the
So
powerlifting route.
you've competed in the bikini division, and also
Yeah.
you've done a little bit of powerlifting, right?
Powerlifting, yeah. Amateur
That's awesome.
powerlifting. Just when I was about to start and get to a pro, it just went away. Anyways, we'll come back to that. But then, yeah, you're right. I have been doing competitions. I had been doing competitions lately. And then at that time, I realized that only linear periodization is not working with me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to go from 5 से 10 kg करते हैं 10 से 15 kg करते हैं उससे I was not getting the kind of
What
results that
after
I really
that?
want.
Yeah. What
What
after
after that?
that? What are you
So
gonna do?
that is when the non-linear periodization came. Uh, Non-linear periodization is basically when you train in different directions. When I was doing strength training with my coach, Marika,
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
that point of time, I remember she used to train me 4 days a week where I used to only do volume training,
Hmm.
high reps, low load maybe. So and on the other days, I would end up doing something like a heavy deadlift,
Yeah.
10 into 10 sets, something which is power. So
Yeah.
if you change, and that also opened my eyes towards non-linear periodization
Yeah.
and its effects on your body, is that you are taking a mature trainer, training athlete, say who is 2 or 3 years into strength training. I'm sure you also do this, and also
Yeah.
I know I've noticed that all of the people around me also do this.
Yeah.
That we move on from say doing powerlifting on one day,
Yeah.
suddenly to bodybuilding on the other day, and the third day
Yeah.
running a marathon. It's basically, so I understood this is what my understanding was, and after a bit of research, I understood that this is basically done for one reason, that is to for your CNS to not completely feel tired
Battered
and
down and totally
yeah,
run
from the
down, like you're
same
banged
thing.
up.
Yeah, exactly, not from the same thing, right?
Yeah.
You're just doing that, okay, bicep curl 21, you're just doing the same thing every single day, you're just bored out of
Yeah.
it, your body is giving up. That's not
Yeah.
how you be in this game for the long run.
So
So
it
that is
doesn't
when
really
you
go that way as a linear periodization. It kind of goes up and down,
goes up
and
and down, up
it's
and down.
it's
Yes.
programmed. It's not random.
No, it's not
It's
random.
programmed.
That
Yeah.
exactly. So this is what I, even when I remember when I was training one of my clients, I would hear some other person say this to me. How are you doing deadlift with him on one day, and the other day you're just doing a press, etc. and the other day he's just doing CrossFit. How is that possible? I said it's possible because I'm just shocking his body to doing different
Yeah.
things so that he is in this for a longer period of time. He has been doing linear periodization for the longest time, but they wouldn't understand it back then. Unless and until you don't do it yourself, you will never get it.
Which is, yeah, which
So
is okay because once when you talk about shocking the system as well, like we already established, it's a planned shock. It's not random.
correct,
So
correct.
when you start doing different things on different days and like maybe burpees on one day and then you're doing
Hmm.
push-ups the other day and then something
Hmm.
else, that becomes a little bit too random because your body does not have enough time to adapt to that stimulus and then
Yeah,
grow. So
yeah.
you need to give it a little time as well. That's why it's programmed.
Right, right. So that is again when we come out to talk about uh, non-linear periodization. That is where you say that you're doing different
Yeah,
things on different day, and it's
yeah,
however it's working with you. But some people, I mean, even I think you have also seen in your fitness career. That's what I'm saying. Some of our clients, they just don't turn up. For days
yeah.
in a row, they won't turn up for whatever
That
reason.
happens
It
a
can be
lot.
personal,
That happens a
traveling,
lot.
especially in BKC. I think we've seen it a lot. I mean,
Yeah,
people are not, they've told you their goals. Hey, I want to do this, I want to do that fancily, and then they don't turn up and they
yeah.
expect magic out of you. But
It's worse
again,
when they don't turn up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
yeah, we have woken up and we're
It
there,
happens.
fresh and had coffee. We not even cannot even go back to sleep for that matter.
Yeah,
So, for those people, that kind of training pattern that I found also falls into the category of a periodization.
yeah,
I mean, people must be really thinking that, okay, I am the deloading boss. I'm 2 weeks I'm there and I'm doing my best, and the third week I just drop down and I'm not there for 4 weeks in a row. And then when I'm getting back, what do I do? Right?
yeah.
So though that for those kind of people who really cannot be very committed to what they are doing for
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason, I guess for them, I have found out that's what I used to use on my clients and just to work most of the time
Yeah,
is block periodization. So block
yeah. So that's the
periodization,
third one that we're touching on. The
yes,
third type of
that's the third
periodization.
third type of periodization. Basically, in
Yeah,
this, what you do is you make a block out of, say, okay, let's take this example. There are 4 phases. We all know, right? There are 4 phases of increasing your intensity, etc., and there are 4 phases of going up in time with your work. One is your endurance and strength. When you work on the basic, then you move on to your hypertrophy, then you move on to your occultation training and all of that, then you move
right.
on to your power training. Okay, so when you're moving in these cycles, a person like you or me can easily train power one day and strength on the other,
Yeah,
versus someone who is not training on a regular basis. How do you put them back into their routine? It would be taking muscular strength and endurance on the first 4 weeks of training
yeah,
and making sure that they do their exercises on these 4 weeks. So you're sorted that, okay, this block is over. This block is done. We are done with the muscular training, strength. We've built basic strength with this individual. And in
yeah,
the next phase, we will just move on to hypertrophy. So
right.
even if he's absent during the hypertrophy, you can always go back to muscular strength training for 2 weeks and
Yeah,
then stick in your hypertrophy from the third week onwards.
yeah.
That's
So
what I
that's
kind of use.
basically how you would deal with clients not being absolutely regular because, life gets
Correct.
in the way and you
Yeah,
have to adapt to
absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
So awesome,
I think
awesome
we're just
point.
getting a lot of, okay. So
Okay.
somebody said, can you please speak in Hindi? हाँ जी, हम हिंदी बोलना जानते हैं. The problem is कि periodization को हिंदी शुद्ध हिंदी में बोलना थोड़ा मुश्किल हो
हमें
जाएगा.
थोड़ी प्रैक्टिस करनी पड़ेगी बट विल
हाँ,
डेफिनेटली ट्राई.
हम करेंगे. हम करेंगे. Periodization का हिंदी में ढूंढ के हम लाएंगे. Don't worry.
Yeah. So
Doc says most clients' bodies are shocked when they find themselves in the. Yes, Doc, you're right. Absolutely. When they come on the first day and they're going back to even doing hypertrophy work or even strength work, they're like, what the hell? These muscles didn't even exist in our bodies.
yeah, yeah, we get that a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
So Doc also has a question.
Acha.
What is progressive overload? So you want to maybe touch on that a little bit?
How does one implement progressive overload while periodizing? while periodizing your workout. Okay, so we first, I think, I guess Doc has already read this, but I don't mind touching up on this. There is a very nice kind of post that I've written on progressive overload, but I'll tell you once again. In order to, get bigger and stronger, you constantly need to change the stimulus to the muscles that you're giving. Now, you said overload while periodizing your workout. Progressive overload is a part of periodizing your workout. So periodization can, let's take an example of a mesocycle or maybe a macro cycle over a period of a year. Okay, annual cycle of say you. How would you take it? Now, you have worked on your basic strength. You are already an advanced client, and now we would want to maybe use you to do a non-linear periodization technique. Okay, here in non-linear periodization also we'll use a lot of variables to give you, not just with your weights, with everything else. Your resistance will increase in some exercises. In some exercises, your time under tension will increase. So maybe I might just add in a little hypertrophy in your strength work and, shock the muscles. Or at a point of time, maybe I can just, use a tempo change, maybe slow on the way down, fast on the way up, something like that,
Yeah.
and add a little
Range
more
of
power to it.
motion, maybe
Exactly.
density.
Increase the range
Yeah,
of motion, increase time under tension, which I've already told you, increase the volume of the training, increase
volume.
the reps of the training.
Yeah.
So this is what is periodization. This is what is your progressive overload. Okay, that can be used in your day-to-day workout that you're doing. So say, for example, you're in the macro cycle and you're in the part where you're doing just hypertrophy work. In there, you can add your progressive overload, such as time under tension, increase the number of weights, increase the number of rest, decrease the amount of rest that you're taking in between two
Yeah.
sets.
Yeah.
Like you and I have seen this, Priyanka. I mean,
Yeah.
the days when I used to go on my cutting phase, I used to literally take not more than 30 seconds. I used to not talk to anybody in the gym, and it used to be really hard to,
Yeah.
even breathe in
Yeah.
between two sets. So
I
it
think
can
when you're
be,
doing something like that, it's really funny because people will probably see someone like you or me training and they're like, okay, they've got their AirPods on and they're just like doing their lifts and everything. And like, what is the matter with this girl? Why is she not talking
yeah,
to me? Like, she has so much of, it was never
attitude.
attitude.
Yeah,
It's like
it just
we're
comes
dying
out wrong. It's like,
inside.
dude, we're just trying to do something here. So,
Yeah.
I do remember that. So that is the difference between periodization and progressive overload. So progressive overload is basically what you can use inside your periodization, in your day-to-day life, in your day-to-day workout, just to
Yeah.
increase the stimulus, just to increase the kind of, intensity of the training pattern. Okay,
Yeah.
and I think progressive overload, even in your cyclings, or say, for example, your the yeah, exactly. Honestly, yes. So people think this. I'm just putting some light on what Doc said right now. People think that progressive overload is सिर्फ weight बढ़ा लो, है ना?
हाँ.
आज तुम 60 kgs कर रहे हो, अगले दिन तुम 70 करोगे, उसके बाद तुम 100 ही करोगे.
But till
इसके
when
नीचे
are
कुछ
you
नहीं
going
आने
to do
वाला.
that? There's going to be a point when you're not going to be able to add that much
Yeah.
weight.
Also,
What
also,
then?
yeah. Also, Priyanka, I think what happens is that if you're aiming for a 70 kg the next time around, you need to make sure that your cardiovascular endurance is also as much that you can lift the 70 kgs off the floor.
And good
If
form,
in
of
case,
course.
and in good form. So I think,
Obviously, always.
and at that point, I think even you will agree, you will have to put some endurance work in between. So I
Sure.
would rather do this case 60 kgs today. I did for 5 reps. Next week, I would probably do 60 kgs for 10 to 12 reps to see that if I can adhere to that.
Yeah.
Then move on to a 70 kg for a 1 rep or a two
Yeah.
reps.
And that's
Yeah,
a good
right.
indication. Like if you are able to do a 60 kg for 5 reps in
Yeah,
this week and
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
10 reps in the next, that
yeah,
means
yeah.
you're probably ready for a 70 kg for
Yeah, and
maybe
also you're
3 or 5
safe.
reps as well. Yeah. And
Also
safe.
you're safe, right? Yeah, you're
Yeah.
not injuring your joints, you're not overloading your bones, you're not overloading your tendons. Sudden
Yeah.
overload also creates a lot of injury. So also,
Yeah.
guys, periodization helps a lot with, removing, not, I wouldn't say removing, but definitely safeguards you from a lot of injuries, overload injuries especially. So if
Yeah.
you're prepared for the next load that you're going to take and you periodize it over a year of time, it is honestly much better than just going on the floor and lifting whatever
Yeah.
comes in your hands, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's your progressive overload question. I think Doc has another question if I'm not wrong. What period?
Uh,
Okay. Yeah.
that was I think the same one. What is
Does
progressive overload?
periodization help train different muscle fiber types? Yes, it does. Because if you're periodizing on a mesocycle or a or a macro cycle, you can definitely train in different directions at that point of time. That is the whole idea of periodization. In an athlete who is probably a sprinter or even for that matter, marathon runner, if they are periodizing their technique, their whole year around something, they will always have endurance work in it. They will always have lactic acid threshold building work in it. They will have a lot of other strength aspects and power aspects which train different muscle fibers during your training or your periodization. So definitely, unless and until, honestly, it's not required. You don't. So there's some like sprinters. They don't really need to do a lot of endurance work. It's not
Yeah,
too
they're
much
more
endurance
into
work.
like power
They
and
need
strength,
to,
which is going to be
yeah,
core to their
yeah,
performance.
yeah. But definitely, there will be a slight, overview
Yeah.
of this. Again, different muscle fiber.
Yeah,
Definitely,
there's
you have to
always an
awaken that.
overlap. It's never that,
It's
one
yes,
is working on, the other is working on
correct.
another kind of activity. It's always in a little bit of conjugation, I
Right,
think.
right, right, right. So I think this brings me to my question to Priyanka. This is something that we've been dying to discuss, I think. So you remember there was this guy who used to come to our gym early in the morning, and he would come and he would just do. I remember his period. I mean his plan
His entire
absolutely.
workout.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just remember it so well. And how do I just shut these questions off? I
Yeah, I can't see half the screen.
Okay, wait, I'll just try to do
Okay, you'll
something.
have to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did it.
What?
Okay. This is pretty much new to me also. So, what I was trying to ask you is that you remember this guy who used to always come and he would do 50 push-ups, like 10 push-ups on the floor, some bicep curls he would do, and then do some sit-ups. And this was a guy with like a pot belly kind of a thing. And
Hmm.
I remember the guy who had taken his induction or the first trial session that was there. He had told me that isko pet kam karna hai. Like all Indian men, all people around the world, इनको पेट कम
Yeah.
करना है. And
Yeah.
the only three things that he would do at that point of time was just do push-ups and 10 push-ups. That too, I think it was half range, and 10 sit-ups and some kind of bicep curl exercises. And he
So
thought
pretty
that
much the
that was
same
enough.
thing
So
every day.
yeah, so I'm asking you this.
Yeah.
This is something that is caught my eye. Do you really think that uh, you know can I not do all that, only those three exercises and get core strength? Because they are the epitome of core strength out
Yeah.
there. If you read it in
Yeah.
any blog anywhere, these are the exercises that are written for core strength. Then why did he never lose the belly fat that he wanted to? Like, I mean, the last I saw him, I remember he was the same. So I don't know after that.
Okay, so what's the main reason why he didn't lose? It could be a lot of things. It could be his diet. It could be a lot of other things as well. But when you're talking
Hmm.
about just the training specifically, okay, you have to understand that when you're doing a certain workout, like it's planned, you're doing the same thing, 10 push-ups, 10 burpees, whatever.
Hmm.
If you're somebody who's just started training, you're
Hmm.
going to probably get some results out of it for some
Yeah.
time. That's what
Yeah.
we call
Yeah.
newbie gains, right? So
Correct.
you're
Of course.
new,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's relatively easier to
Correct.
get some gains,
Absolutely.
but there
Yeah.
is going to be a point when that's
Where you
not going to
plateau.
work for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Hmm.
plateau because your body's adapted to it. Now what? Because
Hmm.
the human body essentially is very lazy, right? If
Correct.
it can
Correct. Correct. Correct.
get away with doing a small amount of work, it'll be like all chill.
Hmm.
Now it has adapted because it knows now you're doing those 10 burpees, 10 push-ups. It has
Yeah.
adapted, it's like chilling nicely. But then you have to again shock it a little bit more. So
Correct.
if if he would have probably progressed or changed his
Hmm.
training or maybe
Hmm.
had somebody plan it, he would have
Hmm.
probably lost the pot belly.
Yeah.
So one
Right.
is
Right.
your newbie gains.
Right. Right.
Okay. It's okay.
Huh.
We all have a little bit. It's fine. So one is your
Hmm.
newbie gains and plateauing, okay?
Hmm.
And you obviously don't want to stagnate there. You
Correct.
have to give progressive overload.
Correct.
And at
Correct.
some point, this is going to get boring. Like, how many
Right.
times are you
Absolutely.
going to do the
The
same
same thing over
workout
and
over
over.
and over again? And
Correct.
if it's interesting, if you enjoy it, then you're going to stay adherent to it, then you're going to stay motivated to it. And that
Correct.
is pretty much the key point when you want to reach these goals, is that you have to do it in a sustained manner, right?
Hmm.
You can't just do it maybe for 2, 3 months and then
And let go of it. Yeah.
and let
Yeah.
go of it. It
Yeah.
has to be very regular. So if you're going to get bored, you're not going to do it, and you're not going to do it well.
Yeah.
So
So
I
no,
think
but
probably
I
those could
think
be the reasons.
yeah, you're right what you're saying. I think many people don't get this right, that
Yeah.
this is a journey and you're in for the longer haul. They don't
Yeah.
get it. They're very impatient. When it comes to fitness, I have seen many people very impatient. I think even I was at a point of time.
Yeah.
You know, when you
We've all
first
been
joined
there.
the gym, yeah, we've all been there. I mean, but then there, you once you get injured and once you get there, you understand that okay, boss, this is not how it's gonna work. You're going to have to, change your methods a little bit and work in a
Yeah.
way where it works for you for a longer period of time. So I think people lack patience, and I think they just don't understand the concept of fitness being a whole journey, fitness being
Yeah.
something that goes on with you for an entire lifetime. People just do it. Okay, I want to get to the wedding, so I want to lose weight. So I want to get to the holidays, so I want to lose weight. Uh,
Yeah.
that's about it. I guess this is what we have already always heard. This is
Yeah.
what comes
Yeah.
from our regular
I like to
clientele.
keep I when someone asks me this kind of question, I like to kind of give an analogy that exercising and eating well is, it's
Hmm.
like taking a shower, okay? Just
Yeah, you
because you
have to
took
do
a
it every
shower
day.
today and you are nice and clean doesn't
Yeah.
mean you're not going to shower for the next 6 days. You're going to have to do it every day if you want to stay clean, right?
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
something like that. Of course, if you stop exercising and you go back to eating in your old way, of course you're going to put on weight. And then
Absolutely, absolutely.
that's what happens.
Yeah, and women, I
So
mean,
yeah.
women think that अरे एक बार जिम ज्वाइन कर लिया फिर तो तुम पतले नहीं हो सकते और एक बार weights छू लिया तो तुम पतले नहीं हो सकते. So you just have to
Yeah.
keep on, doing weights and all that because you cannot really lose weight if you leave the gym. And that's why they stick to the cardio machines for that matter. I mean, they don't
Hmm.
really know what is the concept. You're losing some calories over there, which you have to do it on a regular basis. Whether you join
Yeah.
the gym or not, being fat or being unfit is going to be there with you forever.
Which is
So,
okay because
yeah,
this is not their forte. When you see somebody who's just
right,
kind of constantly on the treadmill and
right.
not getting results,
Hmm.
it's fine because you know what? They don't know better.
Yeah.
And it's our job, I think, to guide them, which is going
Guide
to
them.
bring us to the second
Absolutely.
part of the
Yeah, that's
discussion.
the second part.
But
We'll just keep the juicy part towards the end
juicy
because
part.
that's really, yeah.
So, Madhuri, I have a
Karan, what's
couple of
up?
questions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey,
I'm
Karan.
just gonna say hello to some people who just joined in.
Yeah.
I don't know if they are still there with us, but Karan, hi, good to see you too. Ba- 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 ba. Okay, hello to everyone who just waved at us.
Everyone, sorry, it's just like
Yeah, there's
difficult
a
to go
lot to
through that
cover.
list.
We have
Yeah.
so much
We
to cover.
want to
You have
give
no
you
idea.
maximum
Yeah.
uh
Juice
yeah, juice.
and gossip.
Yeah. So,
So, yeah,
a
please
couple
stay
of
with us to the
questions.
end because this interesting things are coming there.
Yeah.
The real
So,
interesting stuff is going to be there. So, there.
yeah, the action is
Huh.
always at the end
Go.
of the movie,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, so Madhuri, so couple of
Huh.
questions. So one
Yeah.
is that I think you've already covered this a little bit, but if you can just maybe concise it into like couple of sentences. So when you have a client who's constantly traveling, okay,
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
maybe has a time off, like right now is a time off as well, or maybe if you're
Correct.
just one week, like you can't make it to the gym. So how do you periodize for such people?
So I have a lot of people, who are like this because most of them are bankers, corporates, etc., who usually travel quite a lot. I mean,
Yeah,
the only way I have learned how to dodge that is A, by giving out, say for example, I'm training somebody who is into their muscular strength and endurance phase, and they are not there for the next whole week. and I know that they will lose out on the entire week's time. What I probably do is that if they have a gym, usually they do. These guys whom we
Yeah.
are talking about are traveling, they do have a gym, and if they are really committed to what they're doing, they really take the time out, which is really good. I mean, they listen to me and take their time out to do things. But I give them a concise exercise routine, maybe 5 or 6 exercises
Hmm.
pertaining to what they can do, in terms of muscular strength and endurance, just to maintain it for that week.
Yeah.
So I probably deload them from the 75% where I was going with them,
Yeah.
down to the 60%, and I just keep it there for about a week or two, when till the time they are back, so that they are not completely deloaded.
Yeah.
Also, this is one way of keeping them busy. This is one way of keeping them on track. The other thing was, you asked that if they are traveling completely lost touch, like say right now,
Yeah.
there are so many people out there who did not know for the first two
Yeah.
weeks for
So
whatever
how do
reasons
you
what to
do
do.
a home workout like with
Yeah,
periodization? How would you
with
do that?
periodization, right? So
Yeah.
yesterday, if you remember, I have put a story on my page saying that gyms are opening now. What do you think you will do? Hulk smash, or would you ease into it? And you wouldn't believe 80% of the people said Hulk smash. And
I
I
think I
know,
was one of them. I
I
think there's
know
a
out
lot
of
of
this
emotion
80,
in that.
yeah. So 80, that's what happens, right? Your emotions get the best of you and you don't periodize. And that's when you risk an injury. Now, as a smart coach, I know you will get into it, you will ease into it. I know that you will not go on the first day and lift 100 kgs. But out of those
The
80 people,
emotion was to Hulk smash.
yeah, no, but out of the 80% of the people, I personally know, 60 or 50% of them wouldn't really know what to do when they get back. So you have to
Hmm.
understand that you have gone through a deload period. Okay, deload period is where you're completely off training or probably have dropped it down a notch,
Yeah.
a lot, actually. So you have rested your body is in that kind of a zone where it is not, used to that stimulus. So when you are getting back, or when a client comes back from a travel, what I end up first doing is getting the muscles back into action by giving them a full body circuit, maybe, or
Hmm.
probably something that can wake up every single muscle of their body, maybe a
Hmm.
mobilization routine, and then a full body circuit, something like that, which gets them started for the first week or the second. And then slowly ease them into those three body parts, maybe, or whatever their goal is, however their goal is, plan them accordingly. If they have to really get into hypertrophy, have they lost muscle, have they really lost mobility, see that, and then move into it. But
Yeah.
the first 2 weeks, there are many people who think that नहीं सिर्फ cardio कर लेंगे पहले 2 week में, then muscle memory will be back and I'll hit the gym back. I don't think that's the right thing, the right way to go about it. I think you should get back into a training again, but definitely with a lesser load, 60% of the
Hmm.
load, higher number of reps, so that you know that your joints are prepared to take what's coming next.
Yeah.
Okay,
You'd
so
rather take
that is
it slow
something.
than to maybe injure yourself and then
Yeah, and
end
get
up
into
in
that.
bed for like 6 months.
Yeah, I
You
know.
don't want that.
So, yeah. And so then the next question that you asked was, how do you periodize? This is what we are talking about, right? How do we
Yeah.
periodize when we are at home, and how
Yeah.
do we really go about progressing when we are at home? So I have this one thing made over here, which I would want to discuss with everyone. And this is like a very nice periodization cycle that I've made for 12 weeks for a client. Uh, uh, he's a remote client, and he wants to build strength by the end of this, and all he has with him is a TRX and body weight. So there is no weights involved in this, but I will still be giving out the tips for if you have weights involved in your workout. So this is for people who are not doing training at all. The first phase of their training would be foundational strength and endurance. Foundational strength and endurance is basically where you introduce your body to lightweight training and increase the kind of tendons and ligament. You aware, get your body aware of what's going on in
Yeah.
this phase will go on for about 3 to 4 weeks. I've clearly written here the volume will be about 3 sets each exercise, 12 to 15 reps, and with a 30 to 90 seconds rest, a higher rest period, so that you can really recover and get back to doing something better. And the uh, uh, weight selection would be light if you're doing weights. And if you're not doing weights, it would be regressed body weight exercises. Say, for example, if you're doing a push up, it would be on your knees. If you're doing a plank, it won't be more than 30 seconds. Something like this, which will get the tendons and joints to say hello to what you're doing. and then move on to the next cycle. Then the next phase would be your hypertrophy phase, or where we start building that strength and muscle. In this phase, we will try to make that muscle go through a lot of fatigue, because right now, after 4 weeks of normal training, your body is ready for taking it to the
Yeah.
next level. What I've
Yeah.
written here for him is 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps, with again 30 to 40 seconds of 45 seconds of rest in between, with an intensity of 50 to 75% of your 1 rep max. So basically, you should be able to do this in an easy atmosphere, not very hard on yourself, but not very easy on yourself. It should be somewhere in moderate RPE
Yeah.
scale. Now, in this, the body weight exercise that I've told them to do is probably something to do with tempo training. Like, say, for example, if you're doing a squat or if you're doing a push up, it would be 2 counts on the way down, 1 count on the way up, or 4 counts on the way down, 4 counts on the way up. Something which
Yeah.
has to do with tempo training, which will increase the blood flow in your muscles,
Yeah.
or something we do in pump, right? Blood occlusion training,
Yeah.
something where
Yeah.
you try to load a
Lot
lot
of
of blood into
pulses
the,
and
yes, lot of pulses,
yeah,
etc.,
very
where there's a lot of blood
interesting.
flow into that same
Very
muscle.
interesting thing that I experienced just recently, because now we're training at home and
Yeah,
we're squatting at home, limited weights and stuff like that. And I just try to do a pause squat, like a 3 second
yeah,
pause at
yeah,
the
yeah.
bottom,
And that's
and it
it the next day morning.
annihilated me. I'm like, damn. So yeah, these
Yeah,
kind of techniques I think are very underrated, but they're amazing if you want to just build up a little
yeah,
bit more
yeah.
intensity and you don't have weights or you don't have a lot of equipment. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So then I have so basically I've divided his strength workout into 4 phases. The first one I told you, the second one I told you. The third would be a typical power strength training, where you're going overloaded on the hypertrophy and you're increasing the weights here. This is where you increase the weight. So if you're doing
Hmm.
any body weight exercises here, you would want to add on a backpack full of books, or probably an vest,
Yeah.
the heavy vest that you get, or increase the instability in your workout. So say, for example, you're doing a push-up, you could probably start doing an incline push-up, or a decline push-up, something which increases a little bit of instability in the workout. And the last
Right.
phase would be something we know as the power phase. So again, we have divided all of this into a 4-week cycle,
Hmm.
all of the above, except for power, which I've kept for only 2 weeks because he does not require that right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that is how we break it down. And power techniques would be, body weight would be somewhere around 5 to 8 reps of what you're supposed to do, and something like a box jump or a plyo push up or something like that, which
Yeah.
increases the plyometric effect on your body.
Correct.
Again, a sudden shock to the body, and then you go again, deload it, and then you go back to
And then you
your
go
old
back,
thing.
and then
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a different environment for you to train in
Yeah,
by that
yeah.
time.
So this is
Awesome.
so this exactly what has gotten me. The reason why I brought this up today is because I wanted to really talk to Priyanka about what is the importance of the right coach when you think about all these kind of factors to factor
Yeah.
into your workout.
Yeah.
Why do you really need a good coach to guide you, or probably even a good role model, like, say, whoever you're following on Instagram? how
Hmm.
how mindful you need to be of those kind of people, or what kind of training partner should you be having? And
Yeah.
I really want to ask you, Priyanka, as a coach, I mean, you have seen yourself change from a member to a trainer to an elite trainer, and so have I have also gone through that journey where I have just followed someone's path, versus coming on this side of the table when I'm doing things and I'm knowing why
Yeah.
I'm doing it, right? So
Yeah.
you also know what is the importance of this. So I want you to tell me, what do you think are the prerequisites in a good coach?
Hmm. Okay, that's a
This is like
big
your favorite
question.
topic.
Yeah, it's
This is
very
like your
close to my
favorite
heart.
topic.
It's
Yeah,
it's very close to my heart because
yeah,
obviously we want to do the right thing, right? Be on the right path, and then you
yeah,
see suddenly these funny things happening, and it's not easy for me to just you know like be a spectator and not say something about it. But
right.
coming to your question, Madhuri, of course, there's like a number of reasons why you should have a good coach and why you need a coach. But the main thing is that from the perspective of somebody who is a client or a trainee, you want to have a good experience, okay, when you're training under somebody. If, say, I try out with somebody that I'm planning to maybe train under, and
Hmm.
this person doesn't know what he or she is doing, and I have a bad experience, maybe I start feeling dizzy, or maybe some kind of
Hmm.
ache or pain, or I hurt myself, or I just want to like maybe go and puke in the corner, I'm
Right.
gonna have a terrible experience.
That's right.
And
Hmm.
then I probably would not want to try doing that again. It's gonna put me
Hmm.
off.
Yeah. Put me
Yeah,
off
so
exercise completely, not just the coach.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So
Yeah. Yeah.
the chances of a person maybe giving it a shot again is very, very less, I think. I think it's happened to a lot of people. It's happened to me,
Yeah.
but not to such an extent that I didn't ever come back to
Go back
training,
to it.
obviously. Yeah. So,
Hmm.
yeah, so coming to your question, Madhuri, when you're talking about a coach, now this is it's so funny that I have to tell you this was my laptop conked off today. Okay.
Okay.
And
Okay.
yeah, so I obviously I'm now looking to buy a new laptop, and I'm doing all this research and everything, figuring out what I want to buy. And I spend a lot
Correct.
of time like I'm looking at the
Right.
specifications and
Hmm.
price and this and that. Like if I
Hmm.
spend like 30,000, 40,000, what
Yeah.
am I getting for it? Obviously, I want value for money, right?
Correct.
So the
Yeah.
same thing when you're looking for a coach. Now you want value for your money when you're paying this person.
Right.
Firstly, to take care of you, uh,
Hmm.
to make you do the right things with good form, to keep you safe. So first thing, of course, you want this person to have a basic education.
Hmm.
Okay. Why? Because that carries over to the next point, the next requisite.
Right.
So this basic education can be in any language. It doesn't
Hmm.
necessarily have to be in English. In fact, I
Right.
think you and I both have
Yeah. Yeah.
met
Yeah.
some amazing
Many people.
coaches who
Yes.
have,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
whose
Yeah.
first language is maybe a Hindi or a Marathi or something
Yeah.
else,
Yeah.
and they
But
are
they know their thing.
amazing. They are
Yeah. Yeah.
amazing
Yeah.
at what they do.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed. Agreed.
basic education.
Hmm.
Why? Because you want this person to have a proper international certification from
Right.
an accredited institute.
Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely. I
So,
agree.
if you want somebody to be certified, obviously he needs to have a basic education to complete his certification,
Correct.
right?
To
Again,
understand the
yeah,
certification.
to
It's simple as
understand.
that. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's
Yeah.
going to be like a tough road, right? And
Hmm.
then, even when you're talking about a certification, you want to make sure that this person actually gave the exam and passed it.
Right.
Because I know for a
Oh, there are
fact
many.
that
There
there's
are
a
many.
lot there. Yeah, which is great, which you've gone there,
Yeah.
you've
Yeah.
done the
Yeah. Yeah. You've
study,
done it. Yeah.
you've attended the classes.
Hmm.
But then, did somebody check like how much did you actually absorb, whether it was the right thing? Are you fit to be on the floor? So
Yeah.
that's number two.
Yeah.
Third is I would say experience being
Right.
on the floor,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Because
It's
if
very
you're
important.
saying, yeah, so if you're saying that today you're an online coach, suddenly you became an online coach, but you don't have any experience of being on the floor, you have not stood on that floor for 8, 10, 12 hours, you've not picked up weights, and you've not spotted somebody, or maybe you haven't got that experience of training someone. Yeah,
Right.
because
Right. Right. Right.
doing something is entirely different from teaching somebody. I could be amazing at doing yoga poses, but am I capable
Can
of
I coach
teaching
it?
that to
Yeah.
somebody?
Can I
am
coach
i
it?
am i
Right.
capable of coaching? And if they're doing
Right.
something wrong, am
Wrong.
I capable of correcting them? Now
Yeah.
there are people learn in different ways. Some people like
Hmm.
to see, and if
Yes.
you demonstrate it, and they'll like copy you and they understand. Other Some kind of people, they like verbal cues, they pick on to those really, really well. Yeah,
Hmm.
so these kind of skills, I think they come from experience, from being
True.
on the floor. Yeah.
True.
And then again, uh you have reference, right? So if I've coached somebody before,
Yeah.
and this person can actually kind of, tell the experience to somebody else who could be a prospective client for
Correct,
me.
correct,
Because this
correct,
person has actually experienced what it is. It's not
correct.
about how my photographs look on Instagram, or like, what kind of silly things or new things I can do.
Maybe a booty shirt or something. That's
Yeah,
what I think. That's what you mean.
yeah,
It's like out there on IG right now. It's like everybody's
yeah,
a fitness trainer. I mean, I respect that you want to take up
yeah,
fitness as your profession, and you want to really work it out in this industry and see how it goes. Maybe it's your calling. Maybe you've got it right now. But I think what people have lost in this whole situation is the
it's lost in
differentiation between,
translation.
yeah, the differentiation between you being a coach and you
Yeah,
being a fitness enthusiast. You're an
enthusiast.
enthusiast, you're doing it yourself and you're putting it up on Instagram, that's fine.
Yeah,
But with that, when you're attaching a DM me for diet, is like,
yeah,
what do you know about diet? I mean,
yeah,
if a girl is hypothyroid, and she comes to you suddenly, and what are you going to give her?
yeah,
Cabbage? That's not something that you can do, right? So, but
yeah,
you have been eating cabbage all your life, so you wouldn't know the difference of giving what you
yeah,
have to give to a thyroid patient or a PCOD
yeah,
patient or whatever. People come with different strengths and weaknesses to these coaches, and they look forward to getting a good experience, getting fitter, etc. But yeah, these people who are right now the fit experts per se, I'm not talking about qualified coaches. I have massive respect for experienced coaches and qualified coaches,
yeah,
so much. But
yeah.
the people who have not
Those are
experienced it,
not the people we're talking
yeah,
about.
I don't think so. They should be, propagating
Yeah,
themselves as to be, the Mr. Know-it-all or Mrs. Know-it-all,
yeah.
that you know things
Because
that
see,
you don't know
couple of
about.
things, Madhuri. One thing is that if you ever say that you know everything,
Yeah,
that
you're
means
wrong.
A, you're
You're
an
just
idiot,
kidding yourself.
and
Yeah,
secondly, you're not going to learn anything more.
yeah,
Okay? There is
yeah,
nobody
yeah,
out there who knows everything. So let's just come down to the ground,
yeah,
and be very
yeah,
modest about it, and be very open to
absolutely.
learning. Okay?
Right.
So then you have, yeah, so then I spoke about the
You
experiences
spoke
of
about,
previous
yeah,
clients, or
yeah.
maybe, of some senior coach who says, you know what, like I've coached this person, I've seen this person coach, and I think
Hmm.
he or she is good. So that I
Yeah.
think goes a long way.
Hmm.
Then you want to also see whether this person is, what is his specialty, whether
Right.
he's a group exercise trainer or a personal trainer, because there is
Correct,
a
correct,
huge
correct.
difference
Difference
between
between
these two.
one-on-one training.
Yeah,
Right.
one-on-one
Yeah.
training is something completely different from taking a group class for 20 or 30 people, period.
Correct.
So if
Absolutely.
you're a GX instructor, you probably are going to find a lot of, I think, constraints when you're trying to train somebody one
Do
on one.
one-on-one training. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that,
Absolutely.
and then of course,
We've been both.
you, yeah, it's
Yeah, we know.
amazing. I miss body pump. And then of
Yeah.
course you want that person to know everything like anatomy, physiology, exercise
Right.
programming,
Right.
all those
Right.
technical things.
The
So you want this
basics. The
person, yeah,
basics.
you want this to
Hmm.
be very sound in his
Hmm.
knowledge.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I guess we are at 5:49 right now. I guess this will just
It just
uh,
took a little bit.
it'll just shut off. So, should I just save this one and give you a request back? I think that would be better. I have a lot of discussion to do with you
Yeah.
regarding online coaches and fit experts, etc. So I'll just save this one and send you a request back. Is
Yeah.
that good?
Get cut off, you want to again join in, just like you did in the beginning, because we have a lot more stuff to cover
Yeah,
and
we have a
it's
lot to cover. So whoever is here, please come back. I'm just gonna restart the live so that we can go on for about another 15 minutes of good stuff. So yeah, I guess I'll just shut this up and give you
like,
this back. Yeah,
yeah, we'll see you after this short break.
yeah.